Hello Year 9, welcome to the final task of this week. So it should be Friday the 5th of June. So today we are going to be looking at an extract from the end of chapter 5, doing a little bit of work on that, and then the final thing you're going to do is write a really short P chain. So the aim of this video is just to talk you through that and give you any extra help that you may need. So the worksheet you can find is saved on class charts. So I'm going to read through the extract for you, and then you need to do the tasks that are written on the left of the PowerPoint, and we'll run through those together. So the big question that we're looking at is, how does Steinbeck use language features to make the reader feel sympathy for the character of Curly's wife? So this extract comes right at the end of chapter 5, once Lenny has killed Curly's wife, and Candy comes into the barn and discovers her. Curly's wife lay with a half covering of yellow hay, and the meanness and the planning and the discontent and the ache for attention were all gone from her face. She was very pretty and simple, and her face was sweet and young. Now her rouged cheeks and her reddened lips made her seem alive and sleeping very lightly. The curls, tiny little sausages, were spread on the hay behind her head, and her lips were parted. As happens sometimes, a moment settled and hovered and remained for much more than a moment, and sound stopped and movement stopped for much, much more than a moment. Then gradually time awakened again and moved sluggishly on. The horses stamped on the other side of the feeding racks, and the halter chains clinked. Outside, the men's voices became louder and clearer. From around the end of the last stall, old Candy's voice came. "Lenny," he called. "Oh, Lenny, you in here? I've been figuring some more. Tell you what we can do, Lenny." Old Candy appeared around the end of the last stall. "Oh, Lenny," he called again, and then he stopped, and his body stiffened. He rubbed his smooth wrist on his white stubble whiskers. "I didn't know you was in here," he said to Curly's wife. When she didn't answer, he stepped nearer. "You oughtn't to sleep out here," he said disapprovingly. Then he was beside her and, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" He looked about helplessly, and he rubbed his beard, and then he jumped up and went quickly out of the barn. So, first thing you need to do is find some different colour pens or pencil crayons or highlighters, whatever you've got to hand. And you're going to highlight different types of words, okay? So we're thinking about word classes here. So there's a list at the bottom: adjectives, adverbs, lists, and repetition, okay? Now, if you're not sure what those are, there are some definitions around the extract that explain what an adjective is, what an adverb is. So if you're stuck with that, please use those to help you. So that's the first thing. So you might want to pause the video whilst you get on with that. So where can you identify any adjectives? Where can you identify any adverbs? Where are any lists, and where's any repetition? Now, those of you who normally do an orange or a purple task, I would like you to also have a go at highlighting where there's sibilance and also where there's direct speech. Okay, so again, those things are defined in the two blue boxes near the bottom of the worksheet. So use those to help you. Okay, now with your annotations, so as well as highlighting it, think about what those words tell us. Okay, so if you've picked out an adjective, so in the first line, Curly's wife lay with a half colouring of yellow hay. So yellow is an adjective. What does that colour tell us? Why is it significant? What other colours do we normally associate with Curly's wife? So each of your highlighted words should have some explanation written around them. If you haven't got room on the worksheet, just do it on the back or do it on another piece of paper. Right, you've got your extract, which is all beautifully highlighted now with your ideas. And the last thing you're going to do today is just write a really short P chain. Now, you've done these loads. You've all have done them loads in year 7 and year 8 and throughout year 9. So this is getting you to take your ideas, what you've learned from annotating that extract, and putting it together in a cohesive short piece of writing. So the big question we're looking at is, how does Steinbeck use language to present Curly's wife? Okay, so there's an example on the right hand side of the PowerPoint. So this is kind of what you're aiming for. Now, if you have a look at the different colours, that's kind of building up the different parts of the P chain. So Steinbeck creates sympathy for Curly's wife by describing her appearance in death. So you've got your point there. He writes her rouged cheeks and her reddened lips. So we've got a quotation, we've got our evidence from the text. And then the next bit, this is the important bit. This is the effect. This is you thinking about, okay, what have I learnt from that quotation? What does that quotation reveal, in this case, about Curly's wife? So the example says, this encourages the reader to feel sympathy for her because the adjectives rouged and reddened remind us of her movie star aspirations that are now all gone. Furthermore, the red makeups gives a false impression of life to Curly's wife's face and suggests that her whole life was spent hiding behind a mask that was not her true self. Now, those of you who normally do purple tasks as well, I'd like you to go on and do a kind of final bit of your P chain and think about linking it to the context. So all the stuff we did right at the beginning, and thinking about kind of Curly's wife's role as a kind of typical woman in 1930s America. Okay, so that's a kind of little extension bit. Now, on the left-hand side of the PowerPoint, you've got some sentence starters to help you if you are struggling at how to structure your P chain. So you can use those to help you as well. Now, the only thing you need to upload from today is your finished P chain. You don't need to upload the other sheet. Please just upload your P chain to Padlet. The link is on class charts. Well done, everybody. We'll see you for the final chapter of Mice and Men next week.